Okay, so we did Parashat Shavua on Monday, and we're going to do the Shabbat Hagadol Ma'amar. So Netivot Shalom Shabbat Hagadol, right? So this Shabbat is actually the Shabbat before Pesach, and it's the Shabbat Hagadol. So there are a few reasons why it's called Shabbat Hagadol. One is that, summer or spring is coming. The days are longer, and people say, wow, so long. When is going to be Motzei Shabbos? So this is one of the things. But actually, the reason is the Shabbat Hagadol, that because of the Nes that we had, right? So the Netivot Shalom says, he'll bring in the name of Maran Admor Baal Bet Avraham Zechoto Galenu. He said in the Shabbat Hagadol, because truly every Shabbat is like Shabbat Hagadol, right? Because it says in the pasuk, Yom Ze Gadol VeKadoshu. It's a great day and it's a Norah, right? Gadol is great. Ela Shabbat Hazo is Gadol Shebagdolim. It's like the greatest of the great. In the explanation, why this Shabbat is called Shabbat Hagadol, what's like the significant special thing in that? We can say, according to what our sages said in Masechet Shabbat, right? If we were keeping 2 Shabbases, we would be redeemed. And this is the hint about the 2 Shabbatot. Which 2 Shabbatot? And it says, right, in Sefer Vayikra, et Shabbatotai tishmoru. So Shabbatotai, it's in plural. And the minimum of plural, it's actually 2, right? But also it said here, Lashon Rabim, right, plural. And these are the 2 aspect or context of Zachor v'Shamor. Keeping the Shabbos, the Zachor v'Shamor, right? Commemorate and guard and keep. And these are the hints for the Midah, the level of Ahava and the Yira, right? Love and fear. So Zachor Yom HaShabbat lekadsho, commemorate the Shabbat to sanctify. This is the mitzvah aseh, right? The mitzvah of action that we're supposed to do, and that's relate to the level, to the midah of ahava. And the shamor, to guard or to keep or to watch the Yom HaShabbat, to sanctify, this is the mitzvot lo taseh, right? The thing that we are forbid to do. And that's relate to the level or to the midah of yira. And this is what it says, Shabtotai tishmoru, keep my Shabbos, says, the 2 things, right? The two aspects of the Shabbat. The love and the fear, Ahava and Yira. And it's also hinted about the 2 special Shabbases that we have in the year, right? That Shabbat Hagadol is for the Midah of Ahava. And we have another Shabbat that have a name, which is called Shabbat Shuva, right? Before Yom Kippur. It's like between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And that significant thing of that Shabbat is the Yira, is the fear, right? It's in the Aseret Yamim HaNoraim. It's before Rosh Hashanah, right? The judgment day and the crowning day, etc. And this is what it says in the Sefer HaKadosh, according to Be'er Mayim Chaim, in Parashat Nitzavim and other books, that all the lights, spiritual light, right, nishpa'im, they were flowing through the week, but they're coming from the Shabbat before, right? We learned that each Shabbat influenced the days to come. And therefore, Shabbat Shuva, which is before Yom Kippurim, has the light of the Yom Kippurim, which is from the Yira. And the Shabbat Hagadol, which is before Pesach, have the spiritual light of Pesach, which is love, right? The level of love. And this is what it says, Ilmale Shabru Yisrael Shel Shabbatot, if we would keep the 2 Shabbases, which is the 2 aspects or the 2 contexts, 2 levels of Shabbat, the love and the fear, the love in Shabbat Hagadol and the fear in the Shabbat Shuvah, right? But in every Shabbat we're supposed to do that, then we'll be redeemed, right? So it's not talking about 2 Shabbases every half a year Shabbat Hagadol and every half a year Shabbat Shuvah. It's saying every Shabbat we have to have these 2 level of Shabbat Hagadol and Shabbat Shuvah in every Shabbat. And if we will do that in one Shabbat, we will be redeemed. And it says in the Rav HaKadosh Rabbi Shmelke from Nikolsburg, Zechoto Gan Alenu, right? On the pasuk from Yeshaya, from the Navi, V'oti yom yom midreshun, like we will demand Hashem every day, day by day. And it says it's a hint about these 2 days, right? Yom is a day. About these 2 days that we say drashot, right? And these are the 2 Shabbases, one is Shabbat Hagadol and one is Shabbat Shuvah, because this is the perfection for each Shabbat to keep by love and fear. And according to that, it will explain why the Shabbat is called Shabbat Hagadol. Because the level, the midah of ahava, that level is higher than the fear, right? We learned that fear is come first, but the level of love is higher level. And because this Shabbat, the main thing of it is love, right? And therefore it's called Shabbat Hagadol. And also because the level, the midah of ahava, the root of it is from the chesed, which is called the chesed Agdol, right? Because we have a pasuk. Lecha Hashem hagedula v'hagvura, right? Okay, so, and therefore is the Shabbat Hagadol. And from that Shabbat, we have the spiritual light of Chag HaPesach. And we can say furthermore, that in this Shabbat Kodesh, we have two bechinot, two aspects of edut, testimonial, right? As we says in the Kiddush, Zichron Lema'aseh Bereshit, right? Commemorating the creation, right? And Zecher, and commemorating the redemption from Egypt. Right? And also it says in the Aseret HaDibrot, right? In the Luchot, the first one, it says, Ki sheshet yamim asa Hashem et hashamayim. That's right, Hashem created the world in 6 days, right? Etc. In the second Luchot, it says, V'zacharta ki eved hayita b'Mitzrayim. And it's mentioned over there that we should commemorate and remember that we were slave in Egypt. Right? In the Luchot HaRishonim about Hashem creating the world in 6 days and resting on 7. In the second Luchot, it says about remember the time that we were in Egypt. And these are the two parts of the faith that we have, two parts of Emunah. Commemorating and remember the creation of Bereshit, which is like a generic or a general faith that we have that, okay, Hashem created the world. Excellent. Very good. But the second one is like more of the Ashgacha Pratit, because we're commemorating that Hashem took us out of Egypt. And this is like specially for us only. And that revelation that Hashem loves us, and the revelation that, yes, there is a Hashgacha Prati, that Hashem is watching on everyone, that was revealed in Egypt in the redemption. And all the 10 plagues were also in Hashgacha Pratit, again, because they were beating up the Egyptian. Each plague was beating the Egyptian, but they didn't harm us. Right, as it says, and the Torah is emphasizing in the Makot, "V'samti pedut ben ami uben amecha," right, that I put a divider between my nation and your nation. And also Hashem was putting a divider between the sheep, the cattle of Israel, and then the sheep of the Egyptian, right? And from our sheep, not even a single one died. And also in Makat Bechorot, right, the firstborn, when Hashem was beating up the Egyptian, but He saves our houses. And by that, the revelation of Egypt was, okay, I think Lee was just disconnecting himself, right? So the revelation in Egypt was especially for us, but it was revealed to everybody, right? That Hashem is ruling the world. Hashem is the DJ. And these two parts of the faith are included in Shabbos Kodesh. And also it's hinted also in our sages when they says, if we would keep the 2 Shabbos, and then we'll be redeemed. And also in the verses of Et Shabbatotai Tishmor, you should keep my Shabbos, again in plural. So these are the 2 parts of the Emunah, that Hashem created the world, and Hashem have an Hashgacha Pratit on us. And that's included in Shabbat. And that's the commemorating of the Maaseh Bereshit. Ve'ita b'shem Aran mekuvrin, zechuto agalenu, and it says it from Tehillim, right, that Hashem ram al kol goyim, Hashem al hashamayim kevodo, right, that Hashem is elevated himself or is higher than all the other nation, and Hashem's honor is in heaven. Right? Is in heaven. So he said, the Goyim, the other nation, the good ones, right? They believe, they have faith that Hashem is higher. But their faith is just Hashem honor is in heaven. He stayed there. But we believe, Miki Hashem Elokenu, that we believe that Hashem actually have an Hashgacha Pratit, even though like nobody know where He is. We always we're davening and we're looking above, right? That Hashem is in heaven. No, Hashem is everywhere. We can even look below and Hashem is there. We don't see it. But we believe that He is everywhere and that He have an Hashgacha Pratit, that He can elevate us and He can Chas v'Chalila put us down. So you have his Ashgacha Pratit, like that his direct supervision or watching us is like spread in heaven and earth. And this is the Shabbat Kodesh before Pesach. That's why it's called the Shabbat Hagadol. Because the light of Pesach, the light of the redemption from Egypt are coming now. And that's like the greatest thing of the Shabbat Kodesh. Because the one in Yom Kippur is about fear, but here it's about love. And our cleaving to Hashem, but from the level, the middle of love. And this is a waking up in Shabbat Kodesh. And this is bigger than the general faith that Hashem created Bereshit. And another way we can say that we already explained, he said in a different place, that in the Shabbat have again two things or two aspects. One is Shabbat and one is Shvi'i, like the 7 and the Shabbat. What does it mean? And it says according to what the Maran Mekovrin Zechoto Galeno said from Sefer Shmot, Beni u'bnei Israel oti, right? That it's a sign between me and Bnei Israel. So it said the Shabbat Kodesh, actually, it's a sign, it's a mark about the connection between Hashem and us, right? V'rak la'olam, but for the world, right? The Ta'am HaGalui for the world, right? So Hashem, like, showing to the rest of the world that the reason is I created the world in 6 days. The creation, right, was created in 6 days. They don't have that sign, the mark that we have, that it's a covenant between us and Hashem. Not Hashem here, but he created the world. This is what they know, right? And this is what's revealed. And this that revealed to the world actually is called Shvi'i, the 7th one. Because it says in the Pasuk, right? Kisheshet yamim, 6 days Hashem created the world, and the 7th day Hashem was resting. But the Bechinat Ha'ot, the sign between Hashem and us, it's actually called or titled Shabbat. Not the 6 and the 7, Shabbat. As it says in the beginning, right? V'shamu bnei Israel et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, right? And again, this is related to the same thing, that ilmale meshamrim Israel shte Shabbatot, mi'ad negalim. If we would keep 2 Shabbases, we'll be redeemed. Which means the 2 levels, the 2 aspects or context of Shabbat, which is together, Shabbat and Shvi'i, creating the world, and Hashgacha Pratit, and a covenant and a connection between us and Hashem, commemorating the creation and commemorating redemption from Egypt. Yeah, okay. And also it will be explained. And he said here that, and this is one of the reason why it's called Shabbat Hagadol, because the redemption actually is coming from it. And that was the new revelation of Hashem, and it's called Shabbat Hagadol. And also explained that Shabbat Hagadol, according to our sages in the Mechilta, says Ubemora Gadol, right? So we going to read the Haggadah, and he said, right, Ubemora Gadol, like with the great fear or mighty fear. This is the revelation of the Shekhinah. And he said, it seems like where do we learn it, right? That when it says the Mora Gadol, it's referring to the revelation of the Shekhinah. But it says, when it says in the Torah, Mora Gadol, a mighty fear, it means a real mighty fear. Not like a bug that is crawling on the floor or a rat, like a real mighty fear. So including in that, the Shekhinah, the revelation of the Shekhinah, because it couldn't be any other fear. And he said in the time of the Gilui Shekhinah, the revelation of the Shekhinah, is like it says in Yeshaya, Ubau b'marot tzruim, like the people were hiding in the cave from fear. They were just hiding. And from the honor of Hashem. And that was in the night of Itkadesh Chag HaPesach. That was the night of a fear, right? The plague of the firstborn, etc., etc. And in that night of fear and frightened and scared, right? So all the negative forces, the shell, the Sitra Acha, they were all like ran away, hiding, fearing Hashem. And all the firstborn of the Egyptian, they die again from the mighty fear, from the revelation of Hashem. And it says, when Hashem was killing the firstborn in the land of Egypt, he sanctified all the Bechor B'Israel, which means that the Bechorei Mitzrayim, the firstborn of the Egyptian, they couldn't bear the mighty fear of the revelation of the Shekhinah, and they died. Right? We always think that Hashem maybe shoot them or did something or poisoned them, whatever. No. It was just a small, tiny little revelation because it was not really Hashem revealed himself. Hashem revealed part of his attributes. It's not him. Nobody knows who is Hashem, right? It's very abstract. But Hashem revealed a certain attribute, which is called the Shekhinah. And this is what actually killed the firstborn of the Egyptian. They couldn't take it. But we, the firstborn of Israel, they were sanctified in a divine holy by that mighty fear. And that was the revelation. And because of that, all the Bechorim, right, they became like the Kohanim. And therefore it's called Shabbat Hagadol, because we have that spiritual light and the mighty fear and the light of Chag HaPesach, which is the main thing of it is love. And we have that special divine significant level of Pesach, and that lightning of the mighty revelation. This is the revelation of the Shekhinah. So Bezrat Hashem, I hope that we will see that, and when we're going to have, reading the Haggadah, we should really think about it. And I want to dedicate the shiur for the refuah shlema of all the people that got injured in Israel in the terror attack today. For the Ilui Neshama of the one that died.
Yeah.